Welcome to the AI for Career Success podcast by Curt Robbins. We're experts at AI coaching and helping professionals like you and your employees upskill in AI. I'm Fred Jones, and this is episode 204.
And I'm Daphne Blake. It's great to be here, Fred.
Great to have you, Daphne.
Yeah.
So today we're getting into something that affects pretty much all of us. We all use AI to brainstorm and organize our thoughts.
Absolutely. Every single day.
Yeah. But today we're exploring this really terrifying possibility that the AI isn't just taking our notes, it's actually actively reshaping our internal cognitive processes.
Yeah, it's homogenizing our ideas. We're looking at an incredibly eye-opening article for this. It's titled, AI is Quietly Colonizing How You Think by author Timothy Cook, M.A. It was published in the media outlet Psychology Today on March 17th, 2026.
So I want to start by just, looking at that moment of interaction because it feels so harmless, right? You have this loose idea, you speak it into an AI, and it hands you back this beautifully polished prose.
Right, and you read it and immediately think, yes, that is exactly what I meant.
Exactly. You instantly claim ownership. But I look at this a lot like hiring an architect. Let's say you want to build a house. So you give the architect some vague ideas. You want a modern feel, lots of natural light.
Okay, yeah.
So they draw up a blueprint, and you approve it.
Yeah.
But here's the catch. The architect only ever designs variations of the exact same suburban tract home. You think you're designing this custom mansion, but you're really just picking the paint colors for a house that looks exactly like your neighbor's.
Wow. Yeah, that's a perfect way to put it. You didn't design the building at all.
Right. You just approved a template.
Yeah.
So how do we even stop blurring the lines between, just approving something and actually creating it?
Well, Cook points out that we are fundamentally confusing two completely different mental processes here, origination and recognition.
Do you break that down for me?
So origination is messy. It actually requires your brain to fire off unique connections, wrestle with syntax and pull an abstract thought into reality. It's hard work.
Yeah, the blank page is always the hardest part.
Exactly. But recognition, that's just your brain auditing a statistical prediction. You aren't originating anything. The AI is making all those compositional micro-decisions.
Like the framing and the emphasis.
Right. Cook actually includes this great quote from John Nosta. He says, what used to be the imperfectly imperfect construct of thought now feels like a polished product with a shiny yet superficial reflection.
A shiny yet superficial reflection.
Yeah. And if we're constantly confusing those AI micro-decisions with our own thoughts, it has a massive impact on our internal monologue over time. Cook calls this internalized homogenization.
Internalized homogenization.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just offloading busy work then.
No, not at all. Our own internal sense of, what sounds right is being unconsciously trained by thousands of calibrations with the AI. There's this research by Cerati and colleagues from 2026 that shows this perfectly.
Oh, right. The study on how people use suggested text.
Yeah. They found that users almost never actively steer AI outputs in new directions. We just take the path of least resistance. We defer to good enough continuations instead of doing the heavy lifting to generate our own ideas.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate for a second, Daphne.
Go for it.
Because, isn't this just like any other tool? Like, if I use a calculator for math or spell check for my writing, my brain isn't being colonized by Microsoft Word. I'm just cleaning up my work.
I get that, but cognitive colonization is fundamentally different from task automation.
Oh, so?
Well, a calculator executes static, objective rules. Spell check enforces established grammar. There is a clear right and wrong. But reasoning, strategy, problem solving, those are fluid. They rely on your unique lived experiences.
So it's doing the thinking for you, not just formatting it.
Exactly. When you use AI to reason, it alters your underlying reasoning patterns before you even type a word. And over time, those AI outputs get absorbed into human discourse, which then trains future models in this compounding loop.
Let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Curt Robbins.
Hi, this is Curt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the AI for Career Success podcast, where we help you get smarter than your competition by coaching you in AI. So, Fred, before the break, we were talking about how this shifts our internal thinking.
Yeah, and I want to look at the macro level impact of this. Like, what does this actually mean for your career?
Well, Cook has this brilliant thought experiment that really illustrates the danger. Imagine you put 50 business consultants in a room.
Okay, 50 consultants.
You hand them all the exact same business problem, and you tell them to use AI to develop their strategy.
You know, if you ran that exact experiment 20 years ago without the AI, the result would be incredible, like high variance. Get 50 different frameworks.
Yeah.
Some people would lean into financial restructuring, others would focus on marketing. It would all be based on their own diverse lived experiences. And honestly, they're blind spots.
Right, but when you run that same experiment today, Cook notes this remarkable convergence around the exact same AI distribution.
Because they're all drawing from the same statistical well.
Exactly. Now, the average quality of the analysis might actually go up because the AI prevents anyone from delivering a totally incompetent strategy.
Right, the baseline gets higher.
But the variance completely collapses.
And variance is exactly where the value is. I mean, the outliers get trimmed before they can even bloom. But variance is where breakthroughs happen. That's where the economic premium lives.
It really is.
So if your competitive advantage comes from thinking differently, how do you stand out when the tool you use to get smart is pulling you toward the exact same insights as your competitors?
That's the big question. And, the natural defense mechanism for a professional listening right now is to think, well, I'm an expert in my field. I can spot when the AI is steering me wrong.
Oh, absolutely. I hear that all the time. People think they're immune.
Right. Cook calls this the expertise fallacy. Experts truly believe they have the domain knowledge to just reject bad AI suggestions.
But there's a huge blind spot there, isn't there?
A massive one. Because when the AI aligns with an expert's general sense of how a problem should be analyzed, they don't realize that their internal compass for correctness has already shifted toward the model's reasoning.
Wow. So they think they're double-checking the AI, but really the AI has just retrained what they think looks correct.
Precisely. In the brain, good enough becomes indistinguishable from correct. Cook warns that the more fluently someone uses AI to reason, the harder it is to locate who is actually thinking.
The irony there is just wild.
Right. The experts are actually the most at risk.
The very people who feel the most immune, like us, like the listeners, we're the most vulnerable because we trust our own heavily calibrated judgment so much.
Yeah, we really do. Think about the best idea you had at work this week. Are you absolutely sure it was yours? Or have you been colonized so gradually that you can no longer tell the difference?
Thank you for listening to the AI for Career Success podcast from Curt Robbins, where we help you get smarter than your competition. Please buy us a coffee, and remember that we're experts at coaching you and your employees about AI. We'll see you next time.